Hello, everybody. We're going to talk a little bit here about some more yoga tonight and spiritual war, which is also a frequency war, and how people brag about doing yoga classes and how that benefits their health and how they're increasing their health and it's so healthy for them and everything. But where do most yoga classes partake in? Is it usually in nature or in towns or cities? It's mostly in towns or cities. Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit about transverse waves and longitudinal waves. And most towns and cities are surrounded by transverse square waves, digital cell phone waves, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. So you probably don't want to practice yoga in a town or city. You want to get out in the nature, and just like Yoda taught Luke Skywalker the force in nature. And we can talk a little bit about the difference between transverse and longitudinal waves. And longitudinal waves, just like in a tsunami, when an earthquake happens under an ocean, those tsunami waves are underneath the ocean and they're propagating longitudinally underneath the ocean, and you can't even tell if a ship was above the water. It would be traveling right underneath of them. But when those waves start approaching land and climbing the land underneath the ocean, those tsunami waves start moving in a transverse. They start going up and down. That's when they start becoming really dangerous, and they'll swallow cities when they hit land. And so with yoga, you actually want to propagate longitudinally. And everybody's seen the Newton's cradle, where the steel balls swing back and forth, bouncing off of each end. Well, when one ball hits the balls in the middle, those waves going through those steel balls are longitudinal, and the ball coming off the other side is coming off that other side instantaneously, because the waves going through those steel balls are faster than the speed of light. So that's the longitudinal. The longitudinal waves are faster than the speed of light, and transverse square waves are really dangerous. They're sharp as a knife. The digital waves, the ones and zeros, they slice right through your aura, right in your aura like a razor blade. So when people are, they're going to yoga classes and everything, they're not escaping those transverse square waves at all. People need to be out in nature and away from the cell phone and the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth and the electrosmog and the parasitic plasma. And we could talk a lot about electrosmog and parasitic plasma as well. But like I said, the spiritual war, it's a frequency war. So in order to activate DNA radio, you need to get out within nature and propagate longitudinally. You need to escape those transverse square waves and to be able to access your DNA radio better and project it a lot further out into the planet and the galaxy and the universe before you can actually make magic work and actually have real healing and frequency. Because when you're attending those yoga classes and you want to bring your body into perfect symmetry with the universe, with the postures of the lotus position, and it doesn't matter what position you partake in and you meditate, you could be fighting for years and years and years, and but if you're not actually connecting with nature and you want to attend the classes where all those frequencies are attacking you every day, you're not getting anywhere with it. You're still slipping your clutch. Just like you slip your clutch in your car every time you switch gears, and you're burning up your clutch when you take off. So let's just say you're attending your yoga classes in towns or cities where there's a lot of transverse square waves, and then you're going home at night, and when you fall asleep and you're accessing alpha and gamma waves while you're sleeping, and you're doing more positive things there when you're sleeping, your dreams are good, you're having great dreams and everything. But what does the electrosmog look like in your home? What does these transverse square waves look like in your home? Do you have a lot of cell phone signals? Do you have a lot of Wi-Fi? Do you have a lot of Bluetooth while you're sleeping? That makes a big difference. I'm just trying to touch base on here and everything I've been studying, wrapping my mind around with. And I've been studying yoga and for 20 years now, and I can just see right through people. And if they want to talk about yoga and I bring these things up, it's like, what are you doing here? What are you doing there? How does your home look? Where is your home placed? What are you living the correct biological architecture? Are you, people don't want to talk about these things because you're pinned down to where you are now, and you can't help where that cell phone tower is placed. You can't help where you live and you have cell phone transverse square waves cutting into your aura and your life every day. And these are the types of things we need to escape if you want to win, if you want to actually be healthy and you want to survive here. And if people can't help that, they want to ignore it. That's pretty scary. I mean, it's hard out here. It really is. It's almost impossible to escape these transverse waves. And I'm not saying it isn't, but when you bring these things up to people, or if you want to talk about their dreams when they're sleeping, you're not getting straight answers, or people want to ignore the truth, and people want to, veer onto something else and start talking about what they had for lunch today, or whoever made them mad yesterday, or we're out here to win a war. We're out here to be healthy and survive and get ahead. And the things that are important, people choose to ignore because they can't escape it. And there's those types of things like these transverse square waves, these cell phone waves, and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and the GMOs and all the unhealthy foods and everything. And it's just our lifestyles that people refuse to escape. And if they can't escape it, they'll look at you like, it's something I can't help. So let's stop talking about it. Let's start talking about Jane, Dick, and Harry down the road. And that doesn't help your situation at all. So let's try to think about those things. And these are really just basics with yoga and everything. And I could start really delving into the psychology, and I've made a serious video on esoteric psychology and everything. And we could start talking about the becoming embedded into the longitudinal array to really survive in the long term, play the long game with any spiritual politics and extraterrestrial politics. And I could get onto this higher levels of understanding. This is more like a basic understanding here, and people will just refuse the basics because they can't escape it, and they see that it'll cost them a lot of money to escape, or it'll be so much harder for them to escape. They just want to talk about Tom, Dick, and Harry down the road. And these are just basics that we can't ignore with yoga. So if you want to go out here and do yoga classes and everything and try to become healthy and survive and live longer and live pain-free live without medications, live with minimal food, and we can't ignore the basics and talk about Tom, Dick, and Harry down the road. Thank you. Bye.